I just had the opportunity to spend some time talking to President Rhodes, and I had a chance last week to spend a little time with him when Ron Devine brought the car, the race car, up last week, and what a great feeling you get when you leave talking with him about things. A guy that really loved athletics, really tried to do things good for JMU athletics, and I got back in my car after saying hey with him. Boy, my days are much better now after talking to President Rhodes. So anyway, I had to say that. I wanted to open up and say that. Injury front, really healthy. A couple bumps and bruises. I think Rashad Davis got his foot stepped on, got a little bruise on his foot. Dean Cheatham has a little bruise on above his knee, but none of those guys, they actually were both out at practice, moving around yesterday at practice. We did not play Kyrie Hawkins much. He did play some. Didn't feel like we had to. Brandon Herford had a great week of practice last week, and instead of throwing Kyrie back in the starting lineup, we made a game-time decision not to play him very much, just to get him a few reps, and he did some things in the kicking game, but I think that's a testament to what Steve Cease has done as far as growing depth in that linebacker room. So really that's it as far as the injuries. Player of the Week, our Player of the Week award, offensively, Dean Cheatham, 8 catches, 118 yards. Had a couple other opportunities. We just didn't hit him when we needed to. So he played really well, did some good things on the punt team. Offensively. On defense, we had 3 guys, our jack linebacker position, our outside linebacker, all 3 guys, and again, it doesn't show up in the stats very much. They had 10 tackles total, all 3, total 10 tackles, 2 sacks. Andrew Ankara, Sin Jacques, and David Azagu all played really well for us. 2 sacks, 10 tackles out of that group. So we felt like they did a good job. And then we had 2 guys special teams. Obviously, Rashad Robinson got the conference special teams. He got the special teams player of the week. But also Brendan Ravenel. Brendan Ravenel did some really good stuff on special teams this week. He was the guy that actually forced a fumble on the punt. That Rashad picked up and scored for a touchdown, and he also had I think 2 special teams tackles. And then Steve Smallwood actually played really well again on special teams. So again, a couple freshmen in there doing some good things. So that's kind of the opening statement.
All right, Coach, it is week 2, and the areas that you felt the Dukes improved the most from game 1 to game 2 as you look at that analysis.
Well, we had I think 2 fewer penalties than we had first week, so maybe that's to start off with. I thought we did some things. We managed the game a little bit better. I felt like what we wanted to do versus a different type front that Lehigh was presenting to us, we were able to do some things and run the ball a little bit more efficiently. It didn't look like it yard-wise, but I felt like we ran the ball a little bit more efficiently. I felt like Vad did a really good job of managing the game offensively. Defensively, I thought we did some really good things to stop a run game that we struggled with last year. I felt like we made them one-dimensional and forced them to throw the football more than probably they wanted to. I felt like we cleaned up some things in the punt game. Our punter had a really good night punting the ball. We only punted twice, but he had a really good night punting the ball. We got some things done there. And then obviously we won the game, and we stayed healthy. So that was a little step up really we weren't as healthy coming out of the first game as we are in this game.
When you look at the red zone opportunities, on the stat sheet it shows 8 for 8, but you did get a couple of field goals. In your mind, is that success, or do you need to have touchdowns out of those red zone opportunities?
Yeah, we were 8 for 8 in scoring opportunities, but our goal is to score touchdowns every time we're down there, and so we didn't get that done. And the 2 that we didn't get done that we scored field goals really were because of penalties that we had. So we shot ourselves in the foot, which kept us staying on task of getting those touchdowns. So it gave us an opportunity to go back yesterday and really present that to our players that, our goal is to score touchdowns in the red zone and not kick field goals.
What did the Dukes find to be most effective against that 3-3-5 front in rushing the ball in particular?
Yeah, well, I think our offensive staff did a really good job. When you have so many second-level players at linebacker and at safety, how many people that they have, we were able to get into some formations that created some numbers in the box, run game-wise, and I think that helped us. Once we figured out who particularly for them was going to be their fourth rusher, we were able to get into the right formations, which allowed us to run the football better. And that's credit to our offensive staff for getting that done in the week's preparation and at halftime.
How about accounting for Shafniski, rather? You expected him to run the football.
Yeah.
How did you account for him, and do you feel like you were successful there?
Yeah, I think we were. I think what we did was we played our gaps. We did our job description. And guys were in the right place. And, the yards he got running were scramble yards, which we need to improve on rush lanes in that aspect. But we made him a passer and not a runner. And that was kind of goal one for us defensively.
How did your defensive line play? Certainly you talked a little bit about the jack linebacker getting the 10 tackles, of course, but there were some other players making plays. Were those because of sometimes it's cause and effect? Like
Sure.
Alex Mosley doesn't come up with any tackles,
Right.
but does he create tackles for his teammates? Is
Yeah,
that what's happening?
All three of those guys up front, Simeon Robinson, Alex Mosley, Xavier Gates, all three of those guys, Cornell Urquhart, Evan Asuji, Ryan Etheridge, all those guys up front did a nice job of fitting where they need to fit in the run game. And again, when you do that, that allows our linebackers to be clean over the top and hit their gaps that they need to hit. And we were able to do that. We fit the counter plays that they hurt us on last year much better. We hit the trap plays. We hit the power. We hit all the things much better this year. And again, I always say week 1 to week 2, but really you go back last year to this year. And we just have a better understanding of what we need to be.
All right, Coach, let's put that game to rest. It's game number 2, win number 2 for the Dukes. Coming up next, the CA opener for JMU here at home against Albany, a game which you won on a final second field goal. First a heads up play there by Blaine Stewart, and then the field goal by Ryan Maglio that made him a household name in the JMU Nation after that win. Albany coming to town this week, a little bit of a scouting report on what you might expect out of the Great Danes.
Well, I have a whole lot of respect for Greg Gattuso as a head coach. He's, to me, he's a class guy, a hard-nosed guy, got a great staff. And I know they're going to be well coached. They were last year. They're going to have a plan. They're going to figure out their plan to win against us. They're going to try to go work at it this week and execute it and try to come in here and win a ball game. So I have a whole lot of respect for what they do. They're offensively, they're a 12, 21, and 10 personnel offense. You're going to see all 3 personnel groups. They want to be able to run the football. They've got a young running back that's a talent that can run the football well. Talented wide receiver, transfer quarterback from Penn State. Big offensive line that can be physical. So they want to run the football and be able, off of the run, to be able to play action pass and do some things down the field with some one-on-one coverage. Defensively, they're a 4-down quarters team. They will stunt and blitz. They will run some zone pressures. They're again, I said quarters, but they will get into what we call one high. They will get into 3 deep and some man free and try to create some 5-man pressure. So, kicking game wise, they'll be solid. They'll be good. They'll be sound. So again, it'll be a good. It's a great, I think, a great conference opener for us because I think the level just keeps rising for us as we go through the season. So I'm excited about our preparation this week and our plan to try to come out and be 3-0 at the end of the week.
Yeah, like you said the other night, the best thing about being 2-0 is you have a chance to go 3-0 to start the season.
Yep.
A little bit more, if you would. DJ Crook is the transfer quarterback. He's out of Penn State. He did get a little bit of playing time with the Nittany Lions before becoming a Great Dane. Can you kind of describe a little bit about his style?
He's a guy that can run it. I don't think that's his strong suit, but I think he can run the football, so he has some escapability in the pocket. He's got a good arm. I've seen him on tape the first 2 ball games make some throws they're tough throws that you like your quarterback to be able to make. He can make them. I think he's got a good grasp. I'm sure they're much like we did last year with Vad. They're adding more to his plate, as he can take it in the offense. But he seems to have a good command of it. So I think he's definitely a quality quarterback that we'll have to account for throwing the football and running the football.
Last year, Albany led the nation in a turnover margin, and that's probably one of the areas that you certainly respect them in because they definitely teach that. Can you tell us why they're so good in the turnover margin area?
Well, I think it all starts from their head coach and the staff as far as taking care of the football. Number 2 on our plan to win is protect and cherish the football, and I'm sure that's really high on theirs too. The other thing is they play good, sound defense. So if you make mistakes, they'll make you pay for it with interceptions, with fumbles, and those type things. So they've done a good job. It's their MO. They want to protect the football, take it away, keep the ball on offense, gain possessions. And really, to be honest with you, last year, that's why the game came down to what it was last year, because they were able to keep the football and gain possession. So one of the things we've talked about this week is, for us, is being a better ball security team. We had 2 turnovers last week, and again, those are not acceptable for us. We've got to be able to take care of the football. Again, like I said, number 2 on our plan to win is protect and cherish the football. So that's going to be big. We started it yesterday with practice, with some ball security drills at every position. At every position, it's going to handle the football. So we're going to have to continue that during the week and make an even more of an emphasis of it.
Just for the fans, it was 6 turnovers in which Rhode Island had in the loss to Albany this weekend, 4 fumbles and 2 interceptions. We'll turn it over to other members of the media now here at O'Neill's Grill with our weekly Fan and Press Luncheon with JMU football coach Everett Withers. Gentlemen.
Coach, I think when you said that the team is healthy, you could hear a couple people knocking on wood to make sure that you guys stay healthy. And there are a lot of teams that can't say that they're healthy. Is there a secret formula or a brand of smart football that you work on in practice?
I don't think there's a formula. You just hope and pray, and you hope your guys are taking care of themselves off the field and those type things. I think that's try to practice smart. Try to take care of them when you can, and hopefully nothing happens during the ball game.
When you guys were looking at Rashad Robinson, when you guys were recruiting him, what potential did you see in him, and what potential do you see him in now after his Week 2 performance?
Well, I have a passion for guys in high school to touch the ball, that are high school quarterbacks. I have a really, really passion for them, especially moving them over to defensive back. And he was one of those guys, when you watch him on tape, he was their high school quarterback, and he could run, he threw it. He could tell he was a competitor. You have to be when you're a high school quarterback, or your team's not going to be very successful. Coach Kane over at Hermitage has, had a number of talented players. Rashad's just another in that line of guys, and there's a couple coming behind him that we'd really like to have also. But Rashad's a gamer. He's one of those games. We've got a number of freshmen that it just seems like they enjoy being in the game and playing, and they're not scared of the moment. And that's what we recruited. We wanted to recruit guys that weren't afraid of the moment, getting in the game. And Curtis Oliver, Rashad Robinson, Steve Smallwood, guys like that don't mind going in the game playing. So Rashad's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of room to grow, get better. But he's one of the guys you love to keep growing his role for our football team.
You said in the preseason that one of the overall goals was to win the conference, and coming into this first conference game, do you adjust the approach at all? Do your players know that there's a bit of an extra significance into these games?
No, we don't talk about it being any different type of preparation or game. All we talk about when we talk about conference games is they count 2. You may hear our players say that they count 2. They count a win for us and a loss for somebody else in our conference. So they count 2. That'll be the emphasis. When we go to practice, it'll be the same practice. We don't change anything, do anything any different.
Coach, last week you talked about your wide receivers. You didn't feel they did a very good job in Game 1. You addressed that in practice. How would you assess how they performed in Game 2 blocking on the end?
I thought we blocked better. I thought we did. I thought we were able to get more yards on some of our relief games, some of our bubble and relief game. So, yeah, if I had to grade them this week, I would say yes, they graded better on perimeter blocking this week.
In talking to some of your guys on Media Day, they said the light bulb began to come on last year about the Albany game. First 2 games of the season, you've been able to get a lot more guys in the game. Are you seeing they're getting a little more comfortable with what you're doing?
Well, I hope so. I feel like our guys the more game reps they get, the better they'll feel about their job description and what they need to get done. So I would hope our young guys continue to grow. They're not going to be perfect, and we know that, and we accept that, as coaches. But we accept also being able to push them to make them as good as they can be each week. Our theme of the week is the word of the week is relentless, and it's relentless pursuit of being the best football player you can be this week, and the best college student you can be this week. So I told them I was going to be relentlessly after them in practice this week. So we hope that each guy comes to work this week trying to be better at his job description by the end of the week.
Albany brings in a wide receiver. He was the CA Offensive Rookie of the Year, Josh Gonteric, I think is his name. Talk about what makes him so good and what you're going to have to do to really try to contain him somewhat this week.
Good route runner, catches the ball well, understands where he needs to be in zone, knows how to separate against man. The typical things that wide receivers have to know and have to do. I don't think he's an overly fast guy, but he's a guy that runs good routes and does some good things. We're not, I don't know if you change a plan for a wide out. You just have to cover him tighter and better. And that hopefully will be our plan, is to do our technique. Again, each individual that has the responsibility of being near him doing the game, do your job.
Like the players have a little more excitement for the game, or is there any difference?
I don't think so, other than they know it counts too.
Any other questions from the media? Okay, that'll wrap it up, Coach, as the Dukes had their 3rd consecutive home game to start off this 2015 season, and on Saturday afternoon. This time it's a 3 o'clock start, and of course the gates will open 90 minutes prior to that. So the Dukes and the Great Danes of the University of Albany, 3 o'clock the kickoff at Bridgeport Stadium in Zane Choker Field. Thank you for coming out this afternoon, enjoying our Fan and Press Luncheon with JMU head football coach Everett Withers.